everybody. Hello?
Hello.
How's that? It's such a great honor to be here today, to be a part of December, and to be reading with Sally and with Marvin. I always know when I've come into Gianna's artful presence. It's so inviting, it's warm, it's intoxicating, it's inspiring. There ought to be a perfume called Gianna, and that would allow everyone to come into her presence, and you could spread it around, and we could all partake of it. I was, as Gianna had mentioned, I had the privilege to work with Sally for a short time up at UM St. Louis. I knew at the time, although I don't think she did because I didn't want her to, that she would soon surpass the teacher, and that's supposed to happen, but somehow I wasn't thrilled about the prospect. But it was nonetheless very exciting then and now. I had a similar brief, privileged experience to work with Marvin, but for 40 years I've known, owned, and needed his poems. So I hope that goes on another 40 years. I've been very fortunate. The influence on the two poems I'd like to read from December is of a different kind. It's that familiar, fleeting feeling that has no master, obsession, and they're a bit unruly. So I'm very pleased that they appear in a magazine as beautiful and enduring as December. They do follow the centerfold, which is, I think, accidental but appropriate for the subject of these poems. Apple. Of course it's wrong to think that you would ever be astonished. That's the work of someone else now. But I think of autumn, of the kind of heat that rises from a hay mow, or from between the rows of apple trees in an orchard, the spun sun of October, and idleness of an afternoon you might have taken off to go pick apples and write poems in your journal. I think of you reaching up, and because it had been a cool morning when you decided what to wear, cut off shorts still fraying white from the legs you had scissored away and saved in your sewing box, and a white top so light you could feel, as you reached for fruit, the swing of your breasts, grateful for the dedication to the body of summer as it ages. For the last chance it afforded, you were wearing sandals to celebrate the tough leather of your foot soles and to feel the pain between your toes where the stem of the sandals cut you. And so you kicked them off and stood on the sharp straw. And even underneath you, at the center of your body, came the tugging cut of the tight shorts, and the smooth weight below your waist tightened and rose like a dancer on point. And then you had this whole bag of apples and their scent, as you added a last one and one more last one until they began to spill, and you set it down. So what, if it's only my imagining you that came to pass as love, hollow as those reeds that grow along the ditch or the duck ponds in the parks in town? If I've been hiding in those woodlands like a quail, and ridiculous as a pheasant's burst, I start out to arise, who can blame me with all the pleasures you afford? You are in the orchard, your mind on someone else. I come between the tree and you. Don't dare show me an apple, even with the twist of your smile. It's funny, true, and ridiculous too, my earnest waste of time. But I do reach for you. I think you're already sunburnt enough. I know what I'm replacing, the who of your affection, the generator of your current, the one the heat has made you think of, but it doesn't matter to me. You once had been unable to stop yourself, and for that crime, you must recognize and honor the same compulsion in me. Greenwood. I bought figs today, not because you showed me yours, but because they were Black Mission on sale and ripe. I was home in the afternoon, late summer sun weakened by fatigue. In the gutter the birds bickered, and for a moment there wasn't a lawnmower roaring or a school bus bearing down the street before coming to a halt in traffic. A thoughtful airplane distanced the day for a minute, the way you stop singing when someone raises a finger in the air. I wanted just one fig, so I took out the ripest from the box, rinsed it, set it aside on the white countertop. I looked into the nest. They lay together like eggs, because I saw mousy gray scales of mold always there in blueberries when you bring them home, dull as ball bearings, so the fuzz stands out. The distended purple pouch of the fig pulled me toward it, the way my eyes dropped to a woman's breast in the crowded aisles of the market. And I saw that it had peeled skin, just a patch of it, pulled away like a scraped elbow. Under the skin, I saw the golden flesh, the layer before the fertile seeds, tight still as peeled eggplant. I felt this wound, but it wasn't mine to name. Maybe I hurt you, or maybe you hurt me. But it isn't fair anymore to tell you when I think of you. It doesn't really matter whose bruise is whose. When we jostled together, we were ripe. There's all this green wood forming again, where the flesh had been tender, broken, pouring out words like seeds on the tongue. It's a very warm day, so I think I might be appropriate to read a poem about summer. I taught recently in Kuwait, and I stayed through the end of summer when it reached a rather uncomfortable 127 degrees. Vaguely reminded me of St. Louis those days. But because it's a desert that meets the sea, there was the relief of morning and evening. And so this poem is called Summer Morning, Kuwait. The white gown that the men in the Middle East, that part, wear has the sort of unlikely name of dishdasha, and you see them everywhere in white, the women in black. Summer morning, Kuwait. Three men in white sit by the sea. I think they may be poets. They are old and walk with canes. They stoop a little. One morning I saw them sitting together on a bench singing or reciting verses, their headdresses lifted in the early breeze off the water. One nodded with wet eyes and an uncustomary smile. Their white gowns reached the ground. Around them came and went the women, some in groups, following children pedaling their first bicycle. It was hot to be veiled all in black, covered in gloves, only the eyes open and mysterious. The long summer white dish dashes flowed when men strolled hand in hand. From a land of rain, foreigners fished between the rocks, casting lines far out into the fruitless sea. And from everywhere came the thin cats with half-closed eyes and scars, proud to be closest to the prophet. The day would soon begin to boil, and stillness seize the sea. The men were singing, "It is a long life." Mother's Day, just so you don't forget. Next week. Dirt's just dirt. It washes out. It does not hurt. It lets you falter, stop, and feel. It hides the truth by being real. The truth is what you don't want to see. How full of sea lice is the sea. The day you stand and stare at it. Your mom's wheelchair, a part of it. And finding gum is on your shoe. Some dark-haired child is stuck to you. You'd like to walk into the sea, at least stand firmly in the sand. And so would she, when you take her hand, to help her stare and wonder, to steady her so she can stand. It's hot. There's a breeze. She looks content, as if all her fret has left her. But she says, "I'm cold. I want my sweater. Let me take one more picture, tomorrow's Mother's Day. One more picture to look at next year." Thank you very much.